many games will the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champs, win in 2023? What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Mitch here to give you my record prediction for the Chiefs in 2023, going game by game, week by week, previewing their schedule this season. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and let me know in the comments, how many games do you think the Chiefs will win in 2023? Let's go. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, I have a very special message for you. Understand this, coming from a Patriots fan. I get you, but you have to understand that the Chiefs, they're circled on every schedule. They're the target. They have it on their back. Everybody is going to bring it versus the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 Super Bowls, 3 appearances, 2 MVPs for Mahomes, primetime games, and every game the Chiefs play in is a primetime game. Understand that. Believe that. The Chiefs will have a tough time with every matchup. There'll be a lot of close games, but they will survive. They will win the division. And really all it comes down to is the playoffs. We understand this. So let's go through the schedule and let's see which games you may lose this regular season. Okay. Beginning with week 1, I think this is a nice opener for the Chiefs. Everything's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. You're going to raise the banner. You're going to score a lot of points. This could be a little bit of a back and forth shootout, but I don't believe the Chiefs are ever going to lose control versus the Lions. They're the better team. They're the better coach team. They have the better quarterback. They're at home. They should easily walk away with a victory in week 1 and separate in that second half. In week 2, I think this is a game you can lose. Jacksonville, this is a divisional round rematch. Doug Peterson, of course, is familiar with Andy Reid. The defensive staff and the scheme comes from Tampa Bay, which of course has given you some issues in the past. Remember the Super Bowl. And I do believe that Jacksonville is one of those teams that's out here to prove a point early in the year, especially at home versus the Chiefs. It's a big game. It's their biggest game of the season. They want to prove something. Trevor Lawrence wants to prove he's elite. They added Calvin Ridley. They want to prove they're the best team in the AFC South, that they will be a threat in the AFC in 2023. And I think that's enough to win that game. Jacksonville's a weird place to play. It kind of reminds me of the game that the Patriots played in Jacksonville after the 2017 season. In early 2018, they went to Jacksonville after beating them in the AFC Championship, and Jacksonville beat them the year after, early in the year. I believe it was week 2 in Jacksonville. It was just a big, different type of vibe coming from the Jags, and I feel they're going to raise their level in this game. I just don't think the Chiefs are going to treat it the same way that Jacksonville will. Week 3, Chiefs get back on track versus just not a team that's at their level in the Chicago Bears. They'll take care of business. They'll likely blow out the Bears after losing to the Jags. Week 4, this is a game you could lose, but I think you'll win. The reason I think you'll beat the Jets, despite being on the road versus Aaron Rodgers, a good defense, all that, is the coaching. I think you're significantly better on offense and defense from a coaching standpoint, and that is really why I believe you win this game. Week number 5, I think you go to Minnesota and you win. This might turn into a shootout. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, they can put up points, but I do think the Chiefs have the better defense. I do think the Chiefs, at the end, I'm going to take Mahomes over Cousins. Week 6, I think you beat the Broncos. Now, this is a game that I do think should be pretty comfortable. For all the primetime games you play, This one should be the easiest win. It's a divisional foe that you're familiar with, at least to some degree, although there is a new coach in Sean Payton. Russell Wilson could be bad at any point and could just hand you the game. And then lastly, it's a Thursday night at home. It's a short week at home. So I think you should win this game fairly easily. Maybe it's not your prettiest performance, but you'll come through. Week 7, I actually think you lose the first matchup versus the Chargers. For whatever reason, they seem to play better in Kansas City versus the Chiefs in shootout fashion. Mike Williams comes to play. As long as they're healthy, they have the mix of pass rush, secondary, offense, Justin Herbert, to be able to beat the Chiefs. And we've seen that in previous seasons. It'll at least be a very close game, if not a Chargers win. Week 8. This is one where I considered taking the Broncos, but ultimately I'm going to take the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to lose back-to-back, so I'm going to go with Kansas City, especially in the division. Although I will say Sean Payton may make it interesting in the second game after learning some things about Kansas City in the first game. Week 9, I'm going to take Miami. This is a non-home game. This is actually in Germany, I believe. Tyreek Hill revenge game. Big time opportunity for Miami to make a statement offensively. They have the explosiveness to be able to keep up and beat the Chiefs with the running backs, the speed of the receivers, all that stuff. If Tua's healthy, they can score. Defensively, they have pretty good pass rushers in Chubb and Phillips, Wilkins inside. They have a promising new defensive coordinator and scheme under Vic Fangio, who knows Mahomes very well. The Chiefs don't know the Dolphins that well. And then Jalen Ramsey on top of that. So I think the Dolphins, not saying they're a better team than the Chiefs, but I think they match up well. And there's enough motivation coming from Tyreek to inspire the rest of his team. Then you got the bye. Then you have a big win versus the Eagles. I think the way this shapes up, it makes the most sense if the Chiefs win this game. It's a bye week. You got an extra week to prepare for Jalen Hurts, that offense, that defense, all that. Super Bowl rematch, huge game. This is one of the lone games that the Chiefs, other than playoff games, they actually get up for, that they'll be motivated to play. And I'm not saying the Eagles won't either. I'm just saying that that game was kind of weird, right? Chiefs fans, I feel, want to prove that they were really the best team on that field on Super Bowl Sunday. And the James Bradbury hold call happened, and there was a lot of weird stuff. I think that this is a statement game in Kansas City. I think the Eagles will score points, but not enough to win. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Then you have the Raiders. This is another game in division I think is going to be tough. I think the Raiders could beat the Chiefs this year. We saw them nearly beat them last year under Josh McDaniels. On Monday Night Football, the Chiefs had to come back actually from a substantial lead. The Raiders were just notorious for blowing leads last year. Happened again. This is a game they could lose, but I'm not saying they will. I'm taking the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will beat the Packers and young Jordan Love on a Sunday night. Just don't think Jordan Love will be able to match Patrick Mahomes in that setting. I think the Chiefs beat the Bills at home. They beat their sons at home. I think that really your fan base, correct me if I'm wrong, wants to continue to prove that the Bills are not on the Chiefs level. And I think the Bills will be a good football team this year. They've beat the Chiefs in the regular season the last couple times, but I don't think it will happen in Kansas City this year. I think the Chiefs lose to the Patriots in week number 15 in New England. This is another game that's a huge event for Patriots fans. It's a huge event for the New England Patriots. When you look at the schedule, it's week 15. New England's going to be fighting for a playoff spot. Kansas City will be sitting pretty already in their division, up in the lead. They won't really need this game the way New England will. It's also in New England. It's also, just the fans are going to be crazy. And the Patriots match up really well with the Chiefs. Their defense, Belichick versus Mahomes, the secondary. I feel like New England has the formula to beat the Chiefs when the Chiefs go on the road. Then you have week 16. I'm going with the Chiefs on Monday Night Football over the Raiders, although I previously mentioned that the Raiders may play them tough. I just don't believe the Raiders have enough on defense to be able to beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. Then I'm going to go with the Bengals to beat the Chiefs in Week 17. Just over the course of the last few matchups, they've proven to be more consistent, and the Bengals have beat you more than they haven't with Joe Burrow. So even though you beat them in the AFC Championship, I think a lot of that had to do with the offensive line not being healthy. I think if it is healthy here, Chris Jones won't dominate the way he did. I think the Bengals know how to beat the Chiefs. They're not scared. They will walk into Arrowhead. They will win. And then week number 18, I've got the Chiefs finishing off the season with a win, trying to secure at least the number 2 seed in the AFC, if not the number 1. But I've got them at 12-5, which I feel is fairly average. Like, I could see them going 14-3, 13-4. I could see them going as low as 11-6. 12-5 is a fairly conservative record for the Chiefs. I do think that their receiving core without Juju Smith-Schuster took a big hit. I think that there's just not the answers or the reliable options as there were in years past. Kadarius Toney being the number 1 does scare me a little bit. So that's something that goes into this. But when you look at the schedule, it's just a tough schedule. You play basically all the top AFC teams, other than, I would say, maybe Baltimore. Otherwise, you play every single one pretty much. And yeah, it's going to be a handful for Kansas City, as they always have the target on their back. But ultimately, as I said at the beginning, it's about the playoffs. I think the Chiefs do enough here to win their division and to get a top seed for a home game in the first round. And we'll see from there. It's Mitch. Thank you so much for watching. Gronk, spike the like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.